What's going on? Welcome to the Mascarpone Piani's podcast. I'm Lincoln.
I'm A-Bomb.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to this week's edition of... This is number 11. Podcast 11. I can't believe we've been doing this for 11 weeks.
Can't believe it.
It's felt like a lifetime.
Feels like years ago.
Absolutely. The first thing I wanted to say...
Okay.
Last week we touched on what Spotify Wrapped.
Yep.
And I said that a friend of mine had listened to 69,000... 69, nice. Another friend of mine, after that episode launched, reached out to me and was like, hey, my Spotify told me that I listened to 284,000 minutes of music this year. My head, after it exploded...
How many days is that?
I'll get to that.
Okay, yeah.
It exploded, came back together. I did the math. I broke it down.
Okay, yeah.
It's just over 6 months.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. 6 months solid
Wow.
of listening.
Wow.
And I said that to him. I was like, dude, you spent literally 6 months listening to music this year. Like 6 months solid. He's like, oh, yeah. From the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed, I have music going.
Oh, wow.
I was like, wow.
That's crazy.
That is ridiculous.
That's got to be up there.
That's
got to be like top something.
Well, it said that it said 284,000. I have the picture somewhere. It said 284,000 minutes of music listened to, and then at the bottom it said that's more than 99.9% of Canadians. I'm like,
wow.
yeah, that sounds about right.
I would see world. He's probably up there in the top something for the whole world.
That's
so crazy.
That's like restaurant level.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's like when you have a playlist from Spotify playing at your restaurant.
Yeah.
While you're open to close,
Which is illegal to do, I think. Because if you're playing music in a restaurant, I'm pretty sure you have to sign up for a specific service so that you can license the music that you're playing in your establishment. Otherwise, you're illegally playing music in your restaurant.
Crazy. Did not know that.
Yeah, it's like
the first thing I learned today.
Yeah, it's a whole thing, I'm pretty sure. It's a whole racket.
All the restaurants I've ever worked in had iPods with playlists on them. Is that illegal?
Oh, yeah.
That's what they were doing.
I mean, whether or not it's actually illegal, I have no idea, but I'm pretty sure like it's not good.
It's not following the law.
It's not good. It's not good. Hi.
So I have some breaking news.
Okay.
Breaking.
What's breaking?
An hour ago.
Okay.
Just quickly.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off because I know you were about to be like,
No. I have nothing.
The NHL has postponed the Calgary Flames' next 3 games.
What? Oh, I did not know that.
Breaking an hour ago. 6 players and a staff member have entered the league's COVID-19 protocol.
Oh, no.
Over the last 24 hours. And not only that, they think there's more members that have yet to be, like it could be more. So they shut down the whole training facility, everything's shut down, and everything's postponed. Tuesday's game with Nashville and Thursday's game against Toronto is postponed until next Thursday.
Okay. So do you know what that means?
I don't.
That means the Olympics aren't going to happen.
Ooh.
Well, I shouldn't say that. That means the NHL going to the Olympics is probably not going to happen. So that's been kind of... At the beginning of the season, it was like, oh, yeah, NHL players are going to the Olympics. It's going to be great. We're going to see NHL hockey again in the Olympics. And then about a month and a half ago, with the Islanders going under their COVID protocol, Vancouver going under their COVID protocol, and then I think there was one more team. It's looking less likely that...
Yeah, they were talking about that too.
Which is kind of a bummer. So what is probably going to happen is they're probably still going to hold All-Star Weekend, which is in February. Pardon me, in Vegas. But then after that, what they're going to do is they're going to not... Gary Bettman has said the whole time, he was like, look, if players want to go to the Olympics, that's up to them. Like, it's on them. The only problem with it is that if they go over there and they test positive, they can't come back. They get quarantined for 5 weeks. Damn. They get stuck there for 5 weeks, and I've heard it's not a good living situation to get stuck over there. So,
and then not only that, you're missing from your other job for 5 weeks, which is pretty much impossible.
So recently, Robin Leonard, who is the goaltender for Vegas, he came out and he tweeted saying that he was not. I believe it's Sweden. I think it's the Sweden national team. saying that he's not going to play for them this year because he's like, look,
It's too sketchy.
It's way too sketchy, and
that.
he's already got like he has done so much work on his mental health to put himself in a really good place.
Yeah.
That he's like, he says right in the tweet or whatever, he's like, that would be that if I get stuck over there without my family, by myself for 5 weeks in like a quarantine, he's like, that's going to wreak havoc on my mental health.
Yeah.
I'm like, of course it is.
I mean, previous to this, the NHL on the side for a sec, I wanted to go on a trip for Christmas.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I'm not going anywhere.
No.
Like I can't risk if I test positive.
Yeah.
And now I have to quarantine
Yeah.
wherever I am. Like it's not worth it.
Nope.
So I don't really blame them either.
No, I don't blame him either. And
A lot of them have families too.
Yeah.
And like you can't be missing as a husband for that long either. You know, like it's just
it's
not
a
good.
bummer, and like I was really looking forward to seeing, I love the Olympics so much.
Me too.
I have so much fun, especially the Winter Olympics.
I love the Olympics.
It's so good, and I
remember when it was on in Fort Mac, and we were just like
Oh, yeah.
watching it religiously.
when it's on, I have it on 24/7.
Yeah.
Like the Summer Olympics that just happened. I had it on 24/7.
That's awesome.
Summer's not as much fun in my opinion. I love
No,
diving. Like I love
Yes.
watching the dive, and just like
Even some of the swimming and stuff is super cool. Yeah.
also just because like those Olympic pools look so inviting, and I'm like, I
Totally,
just want to
dude.
go swimming.
I know.
But
I know, me too.
yeah, I have it on 24/7. I love the snowboarding. I love the hockey. I love the curling.
Yeah.
I love the skiing.
Yeah.
The skeet shooting, like everything.
Yeah, I do too.
Everything in the snow. Like it
Moguls are
all
cool.
it looks so fun.
Yeah, totally.
So it is kind of especially and the hockey.
Yeah.
Hockey's a big one. So it's kind of a bummer that
Hockey's probably the biggest one for us Canadians.
for sure
It's
it is.
definitely something that's really important to us.
And it is, like I said, it is kind of a bummer that it's coming down to that. But I've been looking forward to like watching Olympic hockey for a while. And Connor McDavid joined up with Sidney Crosby. Like, oh my god,
yeah, that's great. That's like dream worthy hockey right there.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
But and of course they want to do it. And this might, and that's the thing is like this might have been Sidney Crosby's last
Yeah.
Olympics. Because he's 35 now, so
God,
like
yeah.
I don't think he's gonna play when he's 39. He might.
He's
I
the
don't
next
want.
Yager, bro.
Well, no, Ovechkin is the next Yager.
Yeah, fair.
I don't want to talk about hockey the whole time.
No. I just wanted to bring that up because it was literally just happening.
So because of that actually really bums me out.
Yeah.
Because that's gonna.
Well, they were saying too, this is going to be the first of many things that are going to start getting canceled. So
Yeah, Gary Bettman has said like if players want to go, they can go. Like I'm not stopping them, but I think organizations are going to start stepping in and saying we don't want our players to go. It's not going to be an individual player.
Players are going to start standing up and being like, we don't want to go. We don't want to put ourselves in jeopardy. So
No, but the thing is that it's been the player's decision the whole time. So if the players start going, well, I've decided I don't want to go. That's up to them.
yeah,
They're not being forced not to. But wow, that sucks.
yeah.
Hooray.
Yay.
Great way to start off the podcast. More COVID. Last week I had a root canal on Thursday or whatever. So
First one.
it's my first. You've had 3.
Yep.
You were telling me, and I don't like going to the dentist. Who likes going to the dentist?
Yeah,
Nobody
totally.
likes going to the dentist.
Yay, I can't wait. Going to the dentist.
I'm sure there's definitely.
Going to the dentist.
Yeah, I'm sure there's definitely somebody out there that's like that.
They're like, can I come back tomorrow? Can I come back tomorrow?
Going to the dentist and I'm gonna get teeth cleaned. And, like, no, give me a break. Nobody likes going to the dentist, but my new dentist that I'm going to see is probably one of the most wonderful people I've ever met in my entire life.
Nice, trying to get a discount. Shout out to best dentist in the Northwest or wherever.
Yeah, if you want to know which dentist it is, send me a message and I'll tell you so that you
Slide
can go.
into those DMs.
But honestly, she's the most wonderful person in the world, and I have like trauma relating back to dentistry from when I was a kid that has just like put me off dentistry my whole life.
Okay.
And like I even think about it's like the whole like getting on a plane thing. Like right now, I can't get on a plane because there's just too much anxiety attached to it.
Yep.
So it was kind of the same thing with the dentist. There was too much anxiety attached to it, and I was like, I can't get there. Like, I cannot get to that point where I'm able to get this done, while also being in a severe amount of pain.
Right.
So I had a tooth that basically cracked in half and then was dying, and I spent
probably flaring up.
It was flaring up. I spent so many nights literally like sitting on the edge of my bed. Krista's asleep. I'm sitting on the edge of the bed, just like basically in tears and how much pain I was in. That night we went to the Kraken game in Edmonton. Right after the game, on the drive home, tooth flared up, and for the whole drive home, I was silently sitting there in pain and I wanted to die.
Oh God!
And that's why as soon as we got to my house, I was like, "Okay, bye," and I just like bailed because I was like, "I'm in so I need." I went, and you know me, I don't drink.
No.
I near the end of having that tooth pain, I was starting to drink a little bit of vodka to like help me sleep.
Oh wow!
Not good.
No,
that's not a good reason to like start drinking.
Vodka leads to heroin. But yeah, dude, I know I've had very similar, maybe for not as long, but I've definitely had tooth pain like that.
Well, I kept that
pain that is insane.
I just didn't deal with that for way too long.
I can't imagine. Anytime I have tooth pain, I always think about like the old times. Knights of the Round Table, and you have this tooth that's just killing you, and they don't have any modern dentistry.
No, and you're literally like
putting
knock
up with
that
it,
out of my head,
or they're pulling it out. Like, dude, it's just.
So to that point, I have heard horror stories about root canals are like vilified. They're like the worst thing you could possibly.
About the worst thing you could probably go through, yeah.
And so because of that, I'm like, I don't want to get a root canal. Fuck that. Totally. That sounds awful.
Yeah.
When I say that my root canal appointment was the best dental appointment I've ever had in my life, I'm not joking.
No, I believe you.
It was the best dental experience.
Awesome.
A dental anything I've ever had in my entire life.
Rewriting that trauma for you.
Right from the very beginning, I've had needles in my mouth before. It's not a pleasant experience.
No.
I'm there's a lot. Krista's okay. Before I jump into that, Krista has never had a cavity. She's never had a cavity. She's never had a needle in her mouth. She's never had the only thing she's had braces, and that's it.
Okay.
So she's never had her teeth drilled. She's never experienced any of this stuff.
Wow.
I know. I know. So everything that I'm going through, she's like, I can't. Because I asked her one day, I was like, so when you I'm like, let's say you eat ice cream. I'm like, your teeth don't hurt when you bite ice cream or like you have something cold in your mouth. And she's like, no. And I'm like, must be nice.
Quit rubbing it in.
So
face.
Right from the very I'm a giant ball of anxiety. Like I want to, like my fight or flight response is flaring up. I want to bolt out the door. Krista dropped me off. Like she drove me to the appointment. She dropped me off. I'm sitting in the waiting room, like waiting to be called in. And I'm just like sitting there, like telling myself, I'm like, dude, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. But I can feel my heart racing.
It's out of your control.
It's super out. I'm just like, oh my God, this is like super uncomfortable. And then they finally call your name and you're like, Kate, like no turning back now. Like, I'm just like, I'm sure there's people that let their anxiety get the best of them. I try not to. Like, I try to fight through a lot of things and like,
I agree.
Get to the other side because sometimes you build things up worse than they are in your head. And this was one of those instances where at the end of it, I was like, that was unreal. But to call me in, I'm in the chair and I'm just like, in my head, I'm freaking out because I'm like, I don't want to get jabbed with a fucking needle. Like, I don't want any of this.
Is that the part that you're really kind of
no. It's
the whole thing.
It's the drilling into my tooth and like hollowing out my tooth and like all that and like the amount of pain I'm gonna feel from that and like just like because like I've had dental appointments where it's like my wisdom teeth. They tried to freeze. I think it was this one, the bottom right one. The freezing did not take, and they froze me 6 times. They were like jabbing at it 6 times. I could feel the needle. And at a certain point, the guy just looked at me and he was like, "Dude, I just got to get it out of there." And I was like, I was like, do your worst, I guess. And he literally broke the tooth out of my head, and I felt everything. Trigger warning to anybody, by the way. I should have stated that.
Yeah,
at the
no, and
beginning.
that's totally fair. That costs.
It's awful. I've had horrible dental experiences where I have felt so much pain during the appointment, after the appointment, prior to the everything.
I got you, yeah.
So right from the get-go, my new dentist is very much, her whole thing is like, I don't want you to experience any pain. She's like, I want this to be as pleasant an experience for you as possible, because what you're doing is not a pleasant thing.
Oh yeah, totally.
So they lathered a whole bunch of like numbing gel on my gums before they hit me with the needle.
Did it taste like bubble gum?
No, it didn't. It didn't taste like anything.
Mine did, yeah.
And she's just like talking the whole time, and she's like, "Kate, I just want you to." She's like grabbing my cheek, and she's like shaking my cheek. She's like, "Kate, I just want you to focus on me shaking your cheek." And I was like, "Okay." So she starts like shaking my cheek, and I could see her like grab the freezing needle or whatever. And she's like, "Kate, yeah, just focus on me shaking your cheek or whatever." And I'm like, "Okay." In my head, I'm like, "Okay." Like
focused.
I'm like, "You can
I'm
poke,
on it."
You can poke me at any point." She's like, "Yeah, just keep focusing on me shaking your cheek." Yep, just keep focusing. And I'm like, "Lady, fucking poke me." And she's like, "Kate, we're done with that one." And she's like, "I'm just going to double up on the freezing." And I'm laying there like, wait, she already stuck me with the needle, and I did not feel it at all.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was incredible. Like, not even like the pressure.
Yeah, I know.
It was incredible. So I was like, okay. Yeah. So that kind of made me feel a little better. I was like, great, all right. Also, they have TVs mounted on their roof. Mm-hmm. So when you're laying back, you're like watching a TV show.
Yep.
So they put on the Food Network for me, and it was the Christmas cookie challenges. So I watched that for 2 hours.
Nice.
Incredible.
Nice.
And I'm like laughing at like things that are happening on the TV, and they're just kind of like at one point the dentist, she told me, she was like, she's like, "You're adorable. Like, you're hilarious." Because I was like, once I realized that I was not going to feel any pain, and that literally she was just going to be, she was like jabbing like the files in and out of the canals in my tooth or whatever. And I'm like, I can't feel shit. I was just having a blast, like cracking jokes, like, ah, and they're like, "We don't know what you're saying," but also like, they're like laughing. Oh, it was great.
That's awesome.
I had a blast. Getting a root canal is what is the best way I can put it. And so, you know, the 2 hours goes by. She's drilled me. She's filled me.
Yeah, baby.
I didn't have to. Well, I did have to pay for it. But we get to the end of the appointment, and she's like, or like, you know, the most uncomfortable part was having the lip spreader and like the thing that you have to bite down on to keep your mouth open.
Yeah.
Like, that was the most uncomfortable part of all. So that's all out of my mouth. My mouth's a little sore from that, but that went away pretty quickly. And so she told me, she said, "Hey, I just want you to know that you're probably not going to feel like, it's not going to feel perfect like right away. It's probably going to take a while to kind of feel okay."
What?
My like mouth.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I was like, okay. And they're also like, because I have to get a crown put on that. Which,
yeah, I was like, so what do you have right now? I was just about to ask you.
it's root canaled and filled.
Oh, okay.
So it's just like flat on one part of the tooth.
Gotcha.
Whereas before, when the tooth was broken, it was like sharp and cutting my
the same
tooth and
thing.
my tongue and
Same
awful.
thing.
So now that it's like not cutting the inside of my mouth, it's flat. That's all well and fine. But she was just kind of like, you know, like, you might feel like pretty sore. She was like, you might feel sore for like a week. Like, she was like, you might feel
Some people probably do.
And I was like, okay, yeah. Like, she was like, I just want you to know that it might not be perfect for a while. Dude, literally that night, I was like, I ate a bowl of ice cream and I was like, nothing hurts in my mouth. Oh my God. Yeah, it was like, and I was like, I looked at Krista and I started like crying. I was like, I haven't felt 0 out of 10 pain in my mouth for so long. Whereas, and it was so funny because, like, later that night, Krista's like, "How's your pain level?" I was like, I'm like, 1? I was like, maybe 1, maybe 0. Like, it's not that bad. I was like, I'm exhausted from like going through that whole experience. And like, I just kind of like wanted to chill out in my chair. But for the most part, I was just like, I can't believe how little pain I'm feeling based on what I had expected from the doctor. Like she was kind of like, she kind of made it seem like I was going to be like, oh, like you're going to be healing for a while.
Right.
Like literally that night I was like, no, I'm good. Like I'm good. And Krista had said to me, well, maybe you were always rocking at a solid like 5 out of 10 pain, sometimes 12 out of 10 when it would flare up, that now that that's gone, you're just like, it might be like 3, but you're just feeling 0.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, I can't believe.
I'm sure you're at a 0 though.
Right now,
because everything, any problem that you should have been feeling with that tooth is gone. Mm-hmm. So it's been filled with a medicine. It's been cleaned out.
Yep.
So everything should be good. And
yep.
you probably are at a 0.
Literally,
that's why you're like, I feel like a brand new. That's why you danced in here when you were done. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah, no, I am at a 0.
Yeah, that's good.
The next day, I thought, I honestly, because I was telling the guys, I was like, I have to get a root canal, and I was like, I don't know, like. You know, they were like, yeah, man, like, take your time, like, you know, healing up or whatever. And I was like, yeah, like, I really appreciate that. The next day, I was like, I was like, I'm good. Like,
you should have taken 2 weeks off. You're like, I'm
sorry,
still
boys.
recovering.
I'm like in Mexico.
You're in
just like,
Venice. Like, oh, yeah, I'm still recovering, guys.
I go to Venice.
In the canals.
They're like, what brought you to Venice? I had a root canal. I had a root canal. When the moon.
You're like, shut up, I'm on the phone. He's like, oh shit, sorry. Well, that's good, dude. I'm glad.
Oh my God.
It's for me. It's the mouth guard thing. The thing that holds your mouth open is the hardest part for me because
it kept slipping forward.
Well, for me, the dentist is like the inside of my mouth. My mouth is very small.
Oh, you have a small butthole mouth.
And the muscles in my jaw actually protrude inwards, so it's really hard for them to work. So my root canals have all been back.
Yeah.
So it's just been really hard for them to work on it. But
that sucks.
But yeah, I've had the same thing with you. I've had to be frozen multiple times. I've felt it when they were drilling on one of my root canals. The freezing didn't get up high enough, and I felt it in my cheek when they were drilling. So I've had a few instances where I've had to stop, and I've felt pain. But generally speaking, when I was saying to you about like it's like getting tattooed, I didn't mean pain-wise, I meant in uncomfortability. So you're upside down. You have people working. You're wearing weird glasses. Like everything about the situation is uncomfortable. So you kind of have to just go to a different place. The place I go to doesn't have a TV on the roof. So you really have to go. For me, I have to go into a different, almost state of mind for me to be as relaxed as I am. TV would help. Every time I'm there, they're always like, oh, you're so good. Like, you sit so well. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm not going to be moving around while you're drilling in my mouth. Like, you know, but I'm happy for you. I'm happy you got it fixed. Yeah. I'm happy the experience was good and it rewrote that trauma for you. Yeah. So now next time you have to go and get a little tiny filling or whatever, it's not going to be that big of a deal.
Yeah, I still have a few fillings I have to get done.
Fair enough.
But it's like...
But compared to what you've been through...
Oh, my God. I'm like... Oh, yeah. I'm like... Not looking forward to it, but I'm like, it's a lot easier to wrap my head around where it's like, no, like, and I've told Krista too, just who I am as a I actually have to call the dentist today because they're looking for payment.
Oh, gotcha.
I have to pay them for.
You just ran out of there? Yeah. You're like,
no, I left them my credit card, but yeah, I ran out.
That's
no,
funny.
I have to. She called me on Saturday. I just have to call her back. I'm just remembering that now.
Got you.
No, I told Krista, I was like, look. I said, just because we both go to the same dentist now, like that's her dentist as well. That's how I got in there. I got the in.
Right. They were like, well, she's got no cavities. I'm sure her husband's great. They're like, gold mine, gold mine, gold mine, gold. And then I walk in. Anyone else? They're like, we've made $0 off of you, Krista. Bring us more people, please.
And then I walk through the door and they're like, oh my God, he's a cash cow. And I'm like, what the fuck did you just say?
It's going to be a good Christmas bonus, guys.
Sweetie, you can afford that PlayStation 5 after all.
I paid my mortgage off.
All out of my mouth. And they're like, please, we'll see you in January. I'm putting in a pool.
Lots of appointments coming up. We're renovating the kitchen.
Daddy wants a home theater. Oh my God. No, it's what was I talking about?
I don't even know.
It was good. I'm really happy that I got to
That's good.
go. No. I told Chris, I said, look, just book us an appointment like every 6 months to go for cleanings so that it's like
just set in stone sort of.
Whereas before it had probably been about 8 years since I'd seen a dentist, like
Yeah.
a really long time. Mm-hmm. Now I don't want it to. I don't.
Yeah, you
now
want to
that
maintain it. I got you.
I want to maintain it, and now that I have that dentist, that I'm like, I'm in love with you. Like you are
That's
the
good.
best. Not only dentist I've ever met, but like the best. Like you're one of the best people I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
I don't want that to lapse. I want to be there every 6 months to be like, hi. Oh, I also found out that her husband and her son are big Oilers fans too. So that adds to it.
Nice.
Where I'm like, awesome.
She's like, we're gonna move back to Edmonton. Sorry. You're like, I'm moving too.
I'd be like, cool.
I'll just drive up for my appointments.
If I'm driving up for hockey games, I can absolutely drive up for dental appointments. I do not give a fuck.
Just saying, that would be funny.
Oh my God.
She's like, moving to Halifax. You're like, Krista, pack it up.
All right. I guess I'm
going to Halifax.
I'd be like, I guess I'm going to Halifax every 6 months to get my teeth cleaned.
Everywhere.
Yeah. No, I literally would.
That's
I
awesome.
literally would.
It's
If
good.
she's
It's
like,
important to find that.
if she was like, I have to go to Mordor and throw the one ring in the fires of Mordor, I'd be like, I'm right behind you.
You're like, I'm your Samwise Gamgee.
I'm your Samwise Gamgee. Like, whatever you want, Mrs. Frodo. Like, let's do it.
He was such a bitch in that movie. God, he was such a little bitch.
I recently rewatched all three of the extended edition. I'm not even like a big.
I'm flabbergasted right now.
I had this inkling I just had this inkling to be like, you know what, man, you got to rewatch the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Okay.
I'm not a Lord of the Rings guy.
know
I'm
you're
not a
not.
fantasy guy.
Nope.
Like, you know all of that.
Yep.
And so I have them on Blu-ray somewhere, like the trilogy on Blu-ray, which I'm pretty sure that I janked off my dad out of his Blu-ray collection. I have it somewhere in my house. I think it's in a box.
Okay.
But I also thought it was on a shelf, like a little bit more accessible. So when I went to look for it, not accessible at all. And I was like, oh my
buried.
God, I was so bummed. I looked through a few boxes, couldn't find it. And so
It's got to be on the system somewhere.
Well, I gave up,
Okay.
and I bought it on iTunes.
Oh, okay.
I bought the trilogy, like the extended edition trilogy on iTunes, just so I'm like, okay, because I was like, I had been looking for 3 weeks to find this box set, and I was like, Kate.
Just going to bite the bullet.
I was like, I have to bite the bullet. It was $30. I was like, whatever, it's $10 a movie. But I was like, I really want to rewatch them and kind of see if they hold up, because we're at 20 years.
Yeah.
Since the first one came out, like 20. Yeah, we're at 20. It's been 20 years.
Like 2000, yeah.
Boy, do they hold up.
Okay.
Holy shit. Both with the CGI and like obviously like I say, I have spent years making fun of people that love Lord of the Rings, and like my best friend's wife is like obsessed with Lord of the Rings. So I always send her
the memes and stuff.
Lord of the Rings memes
nice.
and whatnot, and like
She
we
probably
both get a
loves
kick
them.
out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, she gets a kick out of it for sure. But I will say those movies do hold up in a big way.
Nice.
And they are kind of fun to watch everyone. Like they are kind of fun to throw on every once in a while, and like because it's like 12 hours almost.
It's entertaining, sure.
It is entertaining.
It's just not a movie that I'm like, oh my God.
No.
Best movie I've ever got to buy. Like, it's just not one of those movies for me, anyways.
No, that's fair. The Hobbit movies, though,
I haven't seen any of those.
they're bad.
Oh, shit.
I've seen
Is there
all
a lot
three.
of them?
There's 3 of them.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah, he turned one book into 3 movies.
Jeez.
But I think he borrowed some from the Silmarillion for it. I think he borrowed some
You're
from
talking
Lord of the Rings.
Japanese right
It's
now.
all J.R.R. Tolkien.
Tolkien.
Yeah.
Tolkien.
He borrowed a lot from those other books, I think. I think there is some of Lord of the Rings in there. There's some of the Silmarillion in there, and then there's obviously a lot of the Hobbit. But it's like, because how else do you turn one book into 3 movies? I get how you turn 3 books into 3 movies, but it's like, how do you turn one book into 3 movies?
I only remember the one trailer, and they were like going into a cave with a dragon, and that's the only thing I can remember.
That was probably the second one.
Yeah, that's the only one of them that stands out in my mind. Is that I was like, oh, cool, there's a dragon.
Yeah.
That was it.
Who's played by Benedict Cumberbatch.
Weird.
Yeah, the dragon.
So he had a British accent.
Yeah,
He was like, "Yeah,
talks like,
crikey."
hello.
Oh wait, I went
smoke."
Australian.
Crikey,
Like
throwing-
bangers and mash, mate. Yeah, you bloke.
Jesus. Yeah, not quite, but yeah.
What are you fucking guys
The Hobbit
doing here?
movies are not good.
Okay.
The CG, it's way like the difference between the
Man,
two.
we're gonna get so many comments. People that are like, "Yo, my grandma's favorite movie was The Hobbit. You guys are jerks."
Sorry. Well, but the difference between the two trilogies is the Lord of the Rings. A lot of it was practical. There is a lot of CGI in the Lord of the Rings movies, but a lot of those three movies was made practically. Whereas the Hobbit, like the
They had
majority,
a lot of painting in the sets. I thought too. That was one of the things that Peter Jackson wanted was the people like so
for the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
know
yeah,
if that's
yeah.
true. Where they would actually paint in the background.
Yeah,
of
yeah. There
certain
was
places.
Matte paintings in the movie.
Which is not a technique that is normally used nowadays or even recently.
Very little.
Because people would now
No,
use
because
computers.
it's just it's CGI. But what I'm trying to get at is the Hobbit movies are mostly
And they're newer. Which
green
is weird.
screen.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like they're mostly
Like CGI.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the orcs look like shit. Like there's
Weird.
like one like white orc that's supposed to be like the big bad like main orc or whatever. He looks like shit because he's just like CGI. It's terrible.
Weird.
Yeah, they're not. Pardon me, they're not as good. And I remember because my family, like they're. I have family members that are obsessed.
This is how I found out that you didn't like the movies.
What?
Was because that your mom and your sister would always put them on.
My mom and my aunt.
Or your mom and your somebody. I knew your mom.
My mom
was
and
one
my
of them.
aunt every
And then you would just be like, "Are you serious, guys?
Christmas,
You're like, we got to watch this movie
Thanksgiving,
now." Like any family,
any
gathering.
holiday that's like those three movies are on a loop.
Oh my god.
On a loop, which is fine. Whatever it is, it is what it is. But that's how I remember. Like my mom and my aunt were like so excited for The Hobbit to come out. Like so, like they were like sharing. Peter Jackson was sharing photos from like this is the first day of filming, and it was like, oh, okay, this looks like it'll be all right. And then it came, dog shit, absolute dog shit. All three of them.
Well, while we're talking about movies, maybe you've seen the newest Spider-Man trailer.
Yes. Have I?
I don't know. Have you?
I mean, I've seen. When did it come out? Last week?
I think it was like a week and a bit ago.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've seen every single trailer.
Okay.
Why?
I
What's
was just curious on your thoughts because obviously we get a bigger insight of what the movie's
you?
going to be
Okay.
about.
Well, I want.
And how it's going to be
I want-
all the old.
Well, that's what I want to ask. Do you think Toby's in it?
No.
What?
No.
Do you think Andrew Garfield's in it?
No.
You're a
I don't
fool.
know. I
You're
don't
a
think so.
fool.
Fair enough.
You are a fool if you don't. First of all, I have been saying since they have been teasing this movie that if Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are not in the movie, people are going to fucking riot.
Okay.
We already know that Jamie Foxx is in it.
Yeah.
We already know that Alfred Molina is in it.
Yeah.
We already 100% officially know that Willem Dafoe is in it.
Yeah.
Because I saw a segment where the three of them were interviewed about the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that Willem Dafoe is that Green Goblin.
Mm-hmm.
There is no fucking way. No fucking way. They don't have Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in that movie even for just a brief moment.
What about Venom?
Venom's probably in it too because they teased that Venom is in that Spider-Man universe at the end of the Venom, the Carnage movie that came out that was dog shit.
I never watched it, but
it was bad.
Okay. So they're trying to tie them all in. Fair.
They're trying to tie them all together. So because you cannot give us a multiverse Spider-Man movie, live action multiverse Spider-Man movie, and not give us the Tobey Maguire, fucking Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland Spider-Man movie.
Right.
You can't. You
Fair
cannot
enough.
do that. My biggest gripe with it, my biggest gripe with this movie is it comes out this week.
Yeah.
On
And,
Thursday.
I know, and like on the 17th.
I have a fucking hockey game to go to on Thursday.
Oh man.
I was
I'm gonna
this
go see
close to buying tickets to go to the movie, and then I realized I'm like, I have a hockey game to go to. I'm like, I want to forego the hockey game to go see this movie. I'm so excited. I'm not even that big of a Spider-Man fan.
Right.
I just hate spoilers so much
Yeah.
that I am willing. I want to go see it today.
Right. I think it'll be a good movie for sure.
Oh, it's going to
Yeah,
be an
yeah.
excellent movie.
Yeah, yeah, it'll be
I
good.
love the whole Tom Holland era
Yeah, it's the
Spider-Man
best.
movies have been great.
The best.
Like unbelievable.
The
Far
best.
From Home and Homecoming are.
The best.
What are
think-
your thoughts about it?
I don't know. I was just surprised at kind of like, I knew that it was going to deal with the multiverse, but then bringing back, just my only gripe is that I hate when they throw everything in. So they'll do like in Batman, the final one had like Catwoman and they had everybody in the Dark Knight series. You know what I mean? It's just like they had Penguin, they had Catwoman, they had fucking what's his nards with
Penguin's
the mask
not
on.
in.
Well, they just throw everything at it. Is all I'm saying. And I just don't. It always feels for me that it's never like a complete movie because they're trying to like make the most amount of money and throw everybody in the world in it. And he's got to fight this guy and that guy and this girl and that thing and they're trying to wrap everything up. It just seems like a lot. But I know that they signed on to do 3 more movies with him, so I know that they're going to.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they're
Well, he's the
extending-
new
They've
Tony
reached
Stark.
a basic, yeah, and they've reached a basic like what was it? Because it was like it was Disney and who that
Sony.
So they came to an agreement to make 3 more movies with him in it. So after I heard that, I was like, okay, I'm more down with it. I just thought it was going to be one of those classic end of the trilogy movies where they try to wrap everything up, but at the same time make the most amount of money by throwing in every single celebrity and villain and everything. Do you know what I mean? So that's
Okay,
what
yeah.
I thought. That's what I thought.
No. See, like Tom Holland has already said that he'll play Spider-Man
Oh yeah, for sure.
for the rest of his
Yeah,
life
yeah.
if he can.
Yeah, if
Which
you can.
I'm okay with.
Well, we weren't sure. There was that time where there was the deal broke down and they weren't going to make the movie, and there was all of that going on.
and the frustrating thing with that is that because Sony, like you know how that all works.
I
Do
mean,
you?
from what I've read, I have an understanding.
Sony
It's like all
owns,
rights and stuff.
Yeah, Sony
and-
owns the film rights to Spider-Man because Marvel sold it to them.
Right.
In order to keep Marvel sold off the movie rights to a bunch of characters in order to keep the studio alive. That was the only way they were able to keep the doors open. They sold off Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, X-Men, like a whole bunch of popular properties.
Yep.
And then now Fox had X-Men and Fantastic Four. So Disney bought 20th Century Fox in order to get those back. Disney is probably, I'm sure somewhere Disney's like formulating some deal to like, we're buying Sony.
Yeah.
They'll never buy Sony as a, like I could see them making a deal to like buy the Sony, like the movie side of Sony,
Yes.
which would be cool because then technically Ghostbusters, like all 4 Ghostbusters would be Disney princes,
Right.
and Phoebe would be a Disney princess.
Nice.
But until that happens, Sony owns the movie rights to Spider-Man. So yeah, with their joint venture, especially with it almost falling apart, like that's the thing. That's going to happen more often. Like if they've signed on for 3 movies, okay, we're going to get 3 more movies, and then 6 years from now, 7 years from now, when those 3 movies are done, there's going to be another article where it's like, oh, negotiations between Disney and Sony are breaking down again, and we might not get another Spider-Man.
Right.
Like Tom Holland might not be Spider-Man again. Like,
Yeah.
so I think ultimately I feel like Sony is reaping the biggest benefit of this because I think they're taking in the most. I feel the way I look, I don't know how it's structured, and I'm totally talking out of my ass, but the way if I were to venture a guess, I feel like Marvel Studios is footing a lot of the bill and Sony is reaping a lot of the benefits, is what I feel like. Like Disney is footing the money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know that it's mutually beneficial, but Disney still wants to do it because it is still beneficial to them in the long run to have Tom Holland part of the Marvel universe, Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think anybody can't see his what he brings to that role, into that universe, into that character. So yeah, well, that's good. 3 more movies for him too, so that'll make it 6 for his series, which will be like the most amount of continuous Spider-Man movies with the same character for a while.
Yeah, because we've never gone beyond 3.
Nope.
Toby got 3, Andrew Garfield got 2, and Tom Holland now has 3. So yeah, all he has to do is make it to 4, and
he's got
the record.
Yeah. But I guess if they're in this one, then that would be 4 for Tobey Maguire, 3 for Garfield. So it kind of ups the ante a little bit.
Well,
I'm just saying. I'm just
if
being
Holland's
that guy
got
right now.
3 more after this, then he's still
he's
gold.
the winner.
Did you see that there was a trailer for Sonic 2 released?
No.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see that.
There's a trailer.
I didn't see Sonic 1. I saw the trailer for Sonic 1. But
You
I
didn't
never
see
watched
Sonic 1?
No.
Oh, you should watch it. It's actually not bad. It's not amazing.
Yeah.
But Jim Carrey's pretty funny.
Oh, yeah.
Jim Carrey was probably one of the perfect. He, as a Dr. Robotnik, he was a good choice.
Sure.
And Sonic, the second one looks like it's because now they've done the origin story of how he came to be on Earth or whatever, and now they've introduced Tails and a special guest. I don't want to ruin the trailer.
All right. Yeah.
Even though
Crash Bandicoot's coming. He's going to make a guest appearance.
As soon as I opened YouTube and typed in Sonic, the trailer was ruined for me.
Oh,
So
no. That's too bad.
Well, I'll just tell you, Knuckles is in it.
Okay.
Which is tight. And Idris Elba is playing Knuckles.
Oh, cool.
Which is tight. But so it's Tails, Knuckles and Tails are in the movie. And they look awesome. It just looks like video game movies are inherently awful.
They haven't been great for a while.
Right. So Sonic is an example of one where it actually did well at the box office, and it wasn't like you wanted to kill yourself after watching the movie.
Right.
So it worked. I don't really like James, the whole James Marsden thing, where he's I'm Sonic's keeper, and he lives with me, and I'm a human, and I don't know, that whole aspect is kind of weird, but it's still not the worst thing in the world.
Sonic should have his own apartment that he just rolls into, and he's
that'll be
Sonic
dinner. That'll be like Sonic 3 when he moves to
Sonic on his own.
Yeah.
Sonic moves out, the movie. He's like, hey guys, you want to help me with these boxes?
And Tails okay, and he's flying around with a box.
He's careful with that.
Knuckles is punching the boxes because now they're friends. Because they're enemies in this movie.
Oh.
Because Knuckles and Sonic started off as enemies, I'm pretty sure, and then they
didn't play Sonic. Didn't.
What?
Yeah.
You don't know anything about the Chaos Emeralds and the
Japanese? Are you speaking Japanese right now?
Konnichiwa?
I mean, I know of the pop culture-ness of Sonic the Hedgehog. I know that.
You never watched the Sonic?
I
guess that was way beyond your
No.
time.
I didn't have a Sega that played. No, I was so Sonic for me. Cool.
That's fair. So I never had a Sega too, I didn't have a Sega as well. My cousins had a Sega, so we would play Sega every time we went to their house. Speaking of Sega, just to segue off a little bit, Nintendo has their new subscription
online,
service.
yep.
Yes. The new version of it, which is you have their subscription
Game
service,
Pass sort
which
of.
is terrible as it is. Mm-hmm. Then they have an add-on, which is another
$40, I think.
Oh
It's
my God, it's so expensive.
$29 or $39. I read an article about it, so I kind of know what you're talking about.
I think I pay over $100 a year for my
God.
But I have a family. I have a family plan.
Right.
So I have.
Do you have a family that you're not telling me about?
No. I have my friends added on there, so they get free online.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thanks for adding me.
You don't have a Switch. Fucking idiot. Anyway.
Yeah.
So part of the expansion is that they added some N64 games.
Yep.
And they added Sega games.
Yep.
For people to play through you download the app or whatever on your Switch, and then you can play. So I added this on because I just enjoy having everything in the world. Because why not? So I did that, and then I told Krista, I said, hey, because she plays Animal Crossing,
Yep.
and there was a free there was a DLC thing that you either paid $30 to buy this DLC thing, or you got it free through the expansion,
Okay.
like the online service that I pay for. So I told her, I was like, oh, by the way, or no, she had asked me, she was like, how do I download the DLC? And I said, don't do anything. I said, you get it free. I'll help you with it later. She was like, I get it for free? I was like, yeah, you get it for free because I pay for your online. So anyway.
Because daddy pays.
Daddy pays for it. So anyway,
She's like, thanks, daddy.
I wonder if we made anybody happy with Daddy pays for it. Anyway, yikes. Walking away from that very quickly.
Yeah.
So I helped her set that up. So now she got the Animal Crossing DLC. Then I was like, oh, yeah. And you also, I was like, if you want, you can play N64 games. She was like, I don't care about that. And I was like, there's also Sega games. She was like, she like perked up. She was like, Sega games? What Sega games? And I was like, well, download the thing on your, because she has her own Switch. I was like, download the thing and like open it. And she like downloaded, open it. And she was like, oh my God. Because she had a Sega growing up.
Oh, okay.
Which I didn't, I think I knew that, but like I didn't know how much she actually
gamer
played.
Krista, holy.
So the last little while, I've been like sitting upstairs, like watching hockey or like watching my TV shows. And then downstairs, I can hear the music for Sonic playing. She's like sitting in the living room playing Sonic on her Switch. And I'm like, that is adorable.
Collecting all the little rings.
Yeah.
That's
it's
cute.
adorable. And then she kept dying at this one point, and she was like, I waste all my lives. And I was like, why don't you just rewind? She was like, rewind? And I was like, yeah, it's a new feature. And like with the way they built this thing, you can like suspend your game or you can rewind if you keep fucking up. And she was like, oh. So she's like super happy. Now she's like,
I'm the best Sonic player in the world.
and so now I have like a little gamer wife now.
Cute.
She was like, how do I get the Lion King game? Because there's like the Lion, like they're from like
I didn't even know there was a Lion King game.
Well, they made like a Lion King game. They made a Aladdin game. And they're notoriously hard.
Oh wow.
They made a Jungle Book one, and she was like, I played all of those, and they come in like a 3-pack.
Cool.
So on, it's just on the Nintendo store. So I was like, just go buy it. It's like $30. She was like, I'm gonna do that, and she still hasn't done it. So I think I don't listen to this part, Krista. Plug your ears. I think I'm gonna get it for her for Christmas, even though we're not getting each other Christmas presents.
Oh, okay.
We're like, we don't need like, there's
Hey, man.
nothing we need
Yeah, totally.
for Christmas at all.
And I feel like you're the kind of couple, anyways. If you see something for her in July, you see something for her in July, and you're gonna buy it. Like you're not gonna be like, oh, I'm waiting for your birthday, or I'm gonna wait till Christmas, and then we're gonna do all the. It's like, yeah, I'm just gonna buy it for you now, and then. You can
Well, and
enjoy
like
it now.
we went out. What is it? We went out to get we printed off a bunch of photos of the dogs. Like I took some photos of the dogs, and we went and got them printed for Christmas cards.
Yeah.
So we just went to Walmart to do that really quick one night. And while we were there, I saw that there was like a Keurig that was like 50% off.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, do you want a new Keurig? Because like ours is really old.
Right.
Like we've had our Keurig for like 7 years. I'm
Oh,
like,
wow.
I feel like we should probably get a
like
new one.
upgrade. Yeah, sure.
And it was like, yeah, it was like regular 100 on for like 48 bucks.
Perfect. Awesome.
And I was like, and she was like, are you going to get me that for Christmas? I was like, I'll buy it. I was like, yeah, like,
Sure. Yeah.
sure.
Cool.
Merry Christmas. So.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, just like easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stay
That's how it
tuned for
should be.
more of Lincoln's gift giving, guys.
He's like, yeah, you want that? Do you,
You
want
want
that? You want Daddy to buy it for you? Is Daddy gonna buy it?
All of a sudden, I'm. Well, no, I'm daddy around home. When I talk to the dog or about the dog, she's like, go see daddy, and I'm just like, hi.
Oh, you're like, Daddy's home.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, is that what the title of this episode is going to be?
Daddy's
be called?
home.
Daddy's home.
Hey, baby.
Oh boy.
Daddy's home.
Yikes. I had a dream the other. Well, this is probably not the way to segue into this, but I did have a dream the other night that we had a baby.
Oh,
That we had a
wow.
kid, yeah, and that we were
That's crazy.
parents, and like I've had
Was
that.
it like vivid?
Oh yeah.
In the fact that you're like, for a millisecond, you're like, do I have a kid now? Like,
Oh,
was
yeah.
it one of those dreams?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I also, the next night I had a really bad nightmare that like woke me up in the middle of the night and like
Huh.
I won't.
Sorry, but yeah, what was the dream?
Oh, just that we now had a kid and we were
Was
like,
it a boy or a girl?
It was a girl.
Cute.
It was a
Do
girl.
You remember name or anything?
No, I don't remember her name, but like,
What were you doing in the dream? Like
Like
just busy being a dad, or
Yeah, like I think we were. Yeah, I think I was like, I think I had taken her to the mall or something, or like
cool.
I think, and in my head, it was like the dream version of like cross iron.
Yeah.
So we were like walking around the mall, and I think I was like taking her to like the arcade of the theater, and I think I was going to take her to like a movie or something like that. And
That's cool, dude.
yeah, and then I had this like
So you told her, obviously,
what?
that you had the dream.
No, I
Or
don't.
no? Oh.
No, I didn't tell her I had this dream. She's gonna find out. as soon
Hey,
as she
guess
watches.
what?
No, but I've had dreams like this before.
Oh, okay.
And it's funny because like I still to this day don't know that if I want.
Yeah, we've talked. I'm
Kids or
shocked,
not.
surprised by that.
Yeah, and like so there is. I'm 50-50 on it. There is a part of me that I've always been 50-50 on it.
Okay.
There's definitely times where I'm like, nope, there's no way. There's no way. I don't have time. My life is too busy and I have too many things that I want to accomplish.
Yeah.
And then there's another part of me that's just like, it'd be really fun to like, if I had like a mini me that I could like take to a hockey game or like, you know what I mean? Like, all right, kid, like let's go get Boston pizza just for fun. Like, you know what I mean? Like just go and do.
He would be an amazing dad, definitely. I can see all the components of like you are basically a kid.
Yeah.
And so all of those things that you love, you could share with a child, which
Yeah.
I think would be insane. Watching Ghostbusters for the first time,
Yeah.
and going somewhere cool for the first time, and listening to this song for the like all of those firsts and all of those introductory things that you can do with a child, where you start really kind of molding them, not in a bad way, but just into the things that they like or they might not like. Just like you might love Ghostbusters. And I'm just saying, just growing up around it, they might be like, oh, fucking dad and his fucking Ghostbusters. You know what I mean? Like, but regardless, it's about those experiences, right? So I could see you being a great dad for sure. It just depends. I mean, a lot of things need to happen before.
Oh yeah,
but
and I see, and that's everything that you're saying. I have friends, obviously, who have kids now, and I see them doing all of that, all of those kind of things, and like experiencing all of that stuff. And part of me sometimes does kind of feel left out,
like FOMO,
yeah, where I'm like, like I would like to experience, some of that, and then the kid starts,
and then something happens,
and then something
like,
happens, and the kid starts freaking out or losing their mind,
or
and I'm
there's
like,
bad kids out there. You get a bad kid,
and I'm just like, I'm really, I'm like, I don't need that.
Yeah, it's a gamble.
So it's and for me, I don't think I'd want a boy.
Fair.
I don't think I'd want a boy.
Yeah.
I think I'd want a girl. I mean, both my dogs are girls. My wife's a girl, obviously.
She is. Krista.
I'm so surprised by that.
You're a girl?
Oh my God. But so it would be like the icing on the cake to like, and I don't think that's the other thing. I don't think Krista would want to have a boy. Like I think Krista would enjoy having a daughter more than a son.
Yeah.
I think.
I could totally see that for
Not
sure.
that I wouldn't love if I had a son.
Like you guys would put it up for adoption for sure.
100%.
Or she'd leave it outside in the cold.
No, I wouldn't kill it. I would just
No, someone would find it.
I would No, you don't. You leave it at a fire station. That's what you do. You take it to a church, a fire station, or you just drop it on some rando's doorstep and you leave a note.
I was going to say rando's doorstep.
You always leave a note attached to the you pin it to the baby's like swaddling, so the baby's like laying there like gently. You ring the doorbell, you knock on the door, and then you run away and you hide in the bushes and you watch as the
demon baby is adopted.
No, it's not a demon baby. It's just a boy. But you watch as the stately like gay couple opens the door and they're like, "Hello, oh,
Franklin,
honey, there's a baby on the front step.
Put the wine down. Get out here.
Put down that 1969 Bordeaux and get out here."
Isn't he adorable?
And then we'll name him Charles.
We'll name him Sebastian.
Charles was my biological dad's name.
Oh.
I'd be very upset.
Mine was Andrew.
Really?
Yeah.
How did I not know that?
Andrew Morton. My last name could have been Adam Morton.
Morton?
Morton.
You would have been the biggest nerd.
Oh, I would have hated it. Hated it. I like my name, Adam Anderson, like the way that it's just like, but the way that it rolls.
Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down with it. I don't love it. I'm not like, I love my name, but I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, but Anderson looks really good on the back of a jersey.
Yeah.
Morton looks like shit.
Yeah, like what am I, an accountant?
Hi,
Like bring those papers to Morton. He'll take care of them.
I'm Morty.
Yeah,
Like
terrible.
Yeah. Everybody, dude, your nickname at work would have been like, "What's up, Morty?" And everybody would have been like, "Oh," but then you could have been Rick and Morty. And
Yeah, but still, this is pre-Morty by a
yeah,
lot.
I guess.
Rick and Morty.
But that's the thing. In your 40s, where you are now,
40 Morty.
You would have been
Morty in his 40s.
You would have been Morty in your 40s, and everybody would have been like, "Oh shit, your name's dude." You would have been set because your like Hotmail address would have been like Morty420 or something, and everyone would have been like, "That's so tight, you
Morty420.
You're so set for life on like an internet handle," because Rick and Morty would have become. I don't know. That sucks though.
Yeah.
Adam Morton.
Adam Morton.
Yeah, but what if they had named you like Neville?
Like, oh my God!
If he had stuck around, like maybe your name would have been different.
Yeah, that's true. It could have been different. Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, you could have been.
My mom had to name me, and they came like back in the day. You could hang out in the hospital longer than you can now after you have a baby. So I think she was in the hospital for 3 days.
Yeah, there were less people.
Yeah. When they didn't try and kick you out, like my buddy Brennan just had a baby, and they kicked her out in like 24 hours.
Yeah, because
they're like, "Thanks for
her,
squeezing it out. Get the hell out of here."
Yeah, when your mom had you, there was three.
Dude, when my mom had me, you could smoke in the hospital.
Yeah. There was also 2.5 billion people on the planet. Probably.
Yeah, it was like 19.
Now there's like 8.
Yeah, I know.
So now the Brennan's wife has a baby, and they're like, "Cool, yeah." There's like 18 women behind you that need this bed. So bye.
Crazy.
Also, it's COVID. But anyway, you could hang out in the hall. Your mom had
she just like she couldn't name me. She had no name for me. And then they were like, "Well, you got to write down on the birth certificate before we kick you out of here what his name is."
So then she looked at the Bible and she was like, she flipped to the first chapter and she's like, "So God created the world. Then he created
Adam was the first son. He's my first.
And Eve."
Yeah.
And she's like,
so that's what she did.
Eve is a girl and my son is a boy. So maybe Adam.
Yeah.
So that's you got.
Where'd you get your name from?
My name?
Yeah, because Lincoln is not a very.
Oh, I guess I was named after some basketball player from the.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like that's what I've been told.
Huh.
There was some basketball player in the NBA in the 80s named Lincoln. I don't know. I've never really looked that up.
Huh.
But my middle name's Alexander. So and it's on my baby video and everything. One of the first times you can hear my mom talking to my grandma, and it's so funny. My mom goes, "We're going to name him Lincoln." And my grandma goes, "Why?" Why?
Oh, why?
Why?
Like,
and
why that name?
She absolutely adores my name now, obviously.
Yeah,
but it was just like at the time.
Well, yeah.
Her first impulse was like, "That's so weird," and she probably like in her head was like, "He's gonna get."
It is unusual though. I would say it is maybe not now, but probably definitely.
It's a lot more common now.
Yeah, now
a lot more
in
common.
your generation.
I have introduced people to. I have introduced myself to people my age, where I'm like, "Hi, I'm Lincoln," and they're like, "Oh, that's my son's name."
Yeah. But I'm saying in your generation, how many Lincolns did you run into that were around your age?
Yeah, it's rare.
Like one
it's
or
rare.
two, but yeah.
I met one. Speaking of that, like introducing myself, I met Joel Murray.
Yeah.
One time, who is Bill Murray's younger brother.
Okay.
So when I met Joel Murray, I introduced myself to him, and I was like, "Hi, I'm Lincoln," and he was like, "Hi, I'm Joel." He was like, "Oh, Lincoln." He was like, "That's one of Bill's kids' names," and I was like, "Oh," and I'm like,
didn't know that.
and I was like, "Oh." And I looked at him and I just inadvertently said, "You mean Bill Murray?" And he was like, "Yes, my brother Bill." And I was like, "Oh." Because I was like, "Oh."
And he's like, he's like searching.
Yeah,
searching.
well, it broke my brain because
Yeah,
I was
your
like,
head
first of
broke.
all, Bill Murray named one of his kids Lincoln.
That's crazy.
Second of all, why am I not his kid? Why am I not the son of a Ghostbuster?
Oh my God, right?
But no, I think that's where my name came from. And yeah, my grand. So that was her first impulse was like, why Lincoln? Like where, but because my middle name is Alexander, they spent the first, I want to say at least the first month, if not the first like 2 months of my life, calling me Alex.
Okay. Oh.
And that's on my baby video. So when
Crazy.
I'm a baby, like I'm like
mini.
I'm brand new.
Yeah.
And they're like, Alex. Maybe even the first like
weird.
6 months. Could be even
Just you saying that is weird.
I know it is weird, especially because I had a friend named Alex like in high school, so it would have been weird if both of us were Alex.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's footage of them calling me Alex and me being like,
Weird.
because I'm just like,
Yeah,
I'm like
where's the boobie at?
I'm a worm.
I'm
Like,
hungry.
And it was my grandpa Bob, who was like, no, his name is Lincoln. We're calling him Lincoln.
Okay.
So he was the one that was like, no, his name's Lincoln. Like, call him Lincoln. His first name is Lincoln.
Yeah.
So I'm so thankful that he pushed
Yeah.
that on everybody and was like, no, call him Lincoln, because otherwise
God,
I'd be
Alex.
Alex, and that would suck.
Oh man,
Oh, that would suck. I would hate it.
that's crazy.
So thankfully, I am called Lincoln, and therefore I roar. I don't know that saying, but yeah, I don't know. That's where my name came from.
That's
I
crazy.
wasn't named after the Bible, if that's what you're asking.
There's no Lincoln in the Bible.
No, not as far as I know.
There
I had to
isn't.
like think about that.
Maybe in the revised version.
I'm just so. I mean, nothing against your name, but I am so happy I don't have
like a biblical name. Yeah.
Because
And a lot of names are biblical that you wouldn't even know are biblical.
oh yeah, like
Yeah, yeah.
Isaiah and like
Like
Joseph, Moses. Oh my god,
Jesus.
I don't want to, because I don't like promoting like making fun of people and like
Yeah.
all that stuff.
But sometimes it's fun too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I met a kid once, and this shit broke my head because it's like one of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
Okay.
And it's like how it's when I tell you what it is, you'll understand. But it's like one of the most selfish things I've ever seen, like like parents do
Okay.
to their children. I met a kid once who legitimately, his name was God is Good, all one word. He showed me his license. Like it was legitimate. His name was God is Good, like whatever his last name was. All his siblings, which he had a ton of them, as you can ascertain,
Yeah.
because they
probably didn't use protection.
That's
Sex
sex was only for procreation.
Right, yeah.
So I think he had like 5 or 6 siblings, and they all his name was Jesus is Lord, I think.
Oh my
Something weird like that. But all his siblings had names like that were like sentences squished together, and all of them were like in that vein. And that to me is one of the most, like, I'd be growing up in that household going like, I can't wait till I turn 18 so I can change my name to Steve
Yeah.
or Brian
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
Alfred.
Yeah.
I want to be Alfred.
Yeah.
Bruce. Fucking
I can't imagine.
Jake.
It's so selfish. Selfish of the parents, because you're really like you're setting your child up, right? So that was the thing. Like when we were trying to figure out my brother's name is Bennett, and we for months we went through lists of names, and I'd be like, how about this name? No, there was a bully in my school. Like each name has a connotation with either somebody that you know, good or positive. So it's to narrow it down. Then how can you make fun of the name? How can you break down the name and make fun of it? You know, like there's so many things that go into it. Like we put a lot of time and effort into naming my brother to try and come around all of those kind of like barriers. But to just go out and name your kid like, I don't give a shit, Smith, like, is crazy. Is crazy.
What that says to me,
It's just like, you are mean.
you are literally naming your kid, I'm an asshole.
Yeah, I have the worst
I'm an
parents.
asshole religious person
Yeah.
who pushes it on my children and is basically creating problems for them in the future. When that kid gets pulled over and he hands the officer his license and he's like, dude, your name is Jesus is Lord or God is great or whatever the fuck. Like, that cop is going to... Anybody... I mean, when you're indoctrinated that deeply into the church, you're not marrying outside the church.
No.
You're 100%... You're the only people you know, and you're being homeschooled. The only people you know in your life
your
are
family.
is your family and your church
Family.
friends.
Yeah.
So yeah, chances are you're probably going to marry
Your cousin.
well, in some
Someone
cases
in the church.
Yeah, someone in the church.
Yeah.
And they're probably in that instance they're probably not going to care that your name is
No. Because they're going to want to name their kids like Dusty Bible. Or whatever it is.
Psalm 360 or Austin 316 or whatever. Yeah.
Or the people who name their kid Facebook or .com or whatever. There's all those parents out there.
Gatorade.
Like not even the religious ones, like the ones that just make no sense.
Yeah.
Like this is tree bark. Like,
So
what?
now that we're talking about naming kids,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
realized why I had that dream.
Oh, okay.
Because we were listening
Full circle.
to Full Circle. It is
Full
perfect.
circle.
Krista and I were listening to a Christmas song, and the name of the person was on the Sirius XM radio or
Yeah.
whatever. And I don't want to say it out loud because I don't want to give it away, because if I ever wanted to use it, it's a dope name.
What do you mean? Like it's a name that you could use like as for a character?
No, for like a child.
Oh,
Like
for
if
a
we were to
kid.
have a kid.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So that's what we were talking about. Like
Oh, okay.
that's where this
So
is
you're like,
coming.
if we had a kid, we could name it blah blah blah. And it would be so cool.
It would be, and she agreed.
okay.
She was
Oh,
like, "That
shit.
is a dope name."
Well, say it. You can't not say it.
No, I.
Write
Well,
it down.
I don't know if
Write
it's-
it down. I want to know what it is.
Well, I'll tell you. I'll bleep it out. Ravenscroft.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
dude. So it's the guy who sings. Well, I'm gonna have to bleep all of this out. Whatever. It's the guy who sings the "You're a Mean One," Mr. Grinch.
Mr. Grinch.
His name is Thurl Ravenscroft.
Wow.
So I was like, "Holy shit!" Like, and I looked. I was like,
Is that his real name?
"That's what it says."
Crazy.
And I was like,
it's like
"That
he
is
comes from like nobility almost.
Yeah.
It's like a noble name from like Transylvania or something.
So like Ravenscroft Constable.
Oh my god.
It works as a middle name, and I think I would keep it as their middle name. So it's just like, what if it was like Rebecca Ravenscroft Constable, or you know what I mean? Where it's
That's
just
that's a comic book name.
oh fuck yeah,
Like a character out of a comic
yeah.
book or a movie or a book or anything.
like she goes to like
Call her Raven.
she goes to elementary
So
school or
good.
whatever, and they're like they're like doing roll call, and they look at her name, and they're just like, damn.
She's got a frog's leg and she's making a potion. She's like, it's Ravenscroft. You say it right, Whitey. They're like, she's scary. She's eating a spider in the back.
She's in Hufflepuff. We're sending her to Hogwarts.
It's Ravencroft.
I would name her Hermione Ravenscroft Constable.
God.
That's what I would name
That would
her.
be a great name. That would be a great name.
Yep.
Hermione's a great name.
That's why, so now it all makes sense. That's why I had the
So you
dream
had the dream. Crazy.
about having a kid.
I don't have dreams like that. I wish I did, man. Mine are so like complacent and dumb and like
your dreams.
yeah. I don't have dreams like that's like a substantial that's like kind of like a life dream that you're having, like a vivid sort of like mine are always like dumb. Like I'm with like Miss Piggy and we're in the forest looking for strawberries. Like like those are my dreams.
Hi ho.
And I'm like, what are we doing now? It's almost like
Piggy.
if like yeah, I don't know.
Why are
I don't have those
there
dreams
so
anymore.
many songs about rainbows? I love my Kermit the Frog
That's a good.
impression.
You got a good one. Kermit.
Yeah. So
That's cool, man.
yeah. Well, I don't know if it's cool
No,
that
it's a
I'm
cool
having
name
dreams.
that you had
Oh,
that.
it's a cool name. Yeah, yeah,
it's a cool name.
But I don't know. It just like it's like sparked this like paternal instinct in me where I'm like,
Your
I don't know. I feel like
clock's
my my paternal clock is
The best case scenario for this would be if you and Krista found a person who didn't have a boyfriend, who wanted to use your little spermies to make a baby, but that she would take care of the baby and that you could come and hang out with it, but you don't have to drive it to school every day and like make lunch every day. You can like come and pick her up.
I
and, like,
literally-
and Krista was okay with it.
That was
and she wanted to be a single mom,
Yeah.
but wanted to have you involved. That would be kind of like the best case scenario.
that was like literally the situation that I pitched to Krista, and she was like, I don't know.
but you know, like
She was, and I pitched like I was like, would you? She was like, well, like maybe we could find a surrogate or whatever, and I was like, okay.
yeah.
Like that, I guess that's the next best. Because she was like, I really don't. She was like, I don't know if I want to be pregnant. And I was like, okay.
Totally.
So I don't know.
Yeah, no, I was just like trying to come up with a best case scenario.
Oh, for sure. That is best case scenario for me, where I'm just
Any
like,
single moms out there, want to be single moms out there, leave a comment. Start up a little like website for you.
Find Lincoln a family.com. Yeah, I don't know. For now, I have a whole bunch of I have like a bunch of nieces and nephews that
Totally.
like my friends' kids and
Yep.
all that stuff that I get to like.
Your friend Tori's kid, you said that you're really close with.
Oh yeah, I
and that you're
adore
really
her.
close with her,
She's
and
so
and that you guys have a good connection.
It was so
and you can maintain that like as she gets
Oh,
older.
I'm going.
Yeah,
I plan on it, but it's like it was so funny because we went over there for dinner.
What'd she make this time?
No,
Everybody wants to know.
No. I ordered food.
I was like, what'd she make? I want to know.
I know because she makes such good food.
Yeah.
And I know she's gonna listen to this and be like, "They're talking about me." No, I ordered food, but anyway, it was just like I just hit her up, and I was like, "What are you doing tonight?" Because it was a Friday night. She was like, "I'm not doing anything. I'm just hanging out with Holly." I was like, "Perfect. We'll come over and like I'll order dinner and we'll just like hang out." So
Nice.
Krista and I went over.
Awesome.
And so it was weird because the last 2 times that I've come over to the house, Holly's been kind of just like Holly's the baby.
Yep.
Is just kind of like not like she's just like like
Okay.
and like at one point her mom like handed me the baby because like we gotta like this was Thanksgiving, handed me the baby because they were like we have to make dinner or whatever, and I was
Right.
like yeah I'll hold Holly. As soon as she gave me Holly looked at me and just started screaming. She was like ah!
Weird.
And I was like, oh, that was like right when we got there.
Yeah.
By the end of the night, Holly's like, she's like, come play. And like, yeah, like we're hanging out. And she's like, oh, yeah, right. I like you. And I'm like,
Okay, that's good.
Same thing happened when we went for dinner this last time.
Played stranger and then your best friend at the end of the
Totally.
night.
So we get there and she had just picked her up from daycare. And so she set Holly down. She said, we're going to plug in the Christmas lights on the outside of the house. And Holly just like looks, and I'm probably like I'm standing on the front step with her, and I mean she's small, like she's like she's not even 2 yet, so she's like looking up at me, and I'm probably like
you're like a mountain of a man
like
to
I'm
her.
probably like a very like
intimidating.
exactly
Yeah,
that's the word I'm looking for. Is it's probably very intimidating for her.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be, but
That's
she
just
like
you.
looks.
Yeah.
She looks up at me and she's just like starts crying, and like Tori picks her up and she's like, "It's okay," and she's like looking at me like very unsure.
Yeah.
But then, by the time we're having dinner, we're sitting in like their little island thing, and Holly's high chair is like at the end of the table, and then I'm sitting here, and both Holly and I are like making faces at each other, and she's like handing me chicken nuggets, and like we're having a great time.
Yeah.
And Tori's like, she's not like, because she's separating from her husband,
right,
who's a fucking loony, and she's like, she's like, Holly's not like that with him, like she's not like goofy. And
like wanting you to grab, like pick.
Well, just even
not
like,
you, but him to pick her up and like.
There's that, but then she's like, she's like, she saying,
doesn't like warm up to him. You mean?
Yeah, she was saying.
Stays like.
Well, I don't know. I've never seen them together.
Yeah.
She was saying how like she's not playful and like goofy and like making faces at him and like laughing and having fun. Whereas like her and I interacting, she's like having a lot more fun.
Right.
And so I think
you're being a goof.
and I think Tori really enjoys that.
Yeah.
So
because you're a kid.
Yeah. So I like it too. It makes me happy that I get to like see all the, and like Tyler's kids and Corey's daughter and like all these kids. I get to see all these kids grow up. So at least I get to see
Unky Lanky.
Yeah, pretty much. But I got Holly I got her some books for Christmas. And I don't want to ruin the surprise for Tori. I'll tell you after the podcast.
Don't. Yeah.
I'll tell you what I got her, but
Holly's such a great name too.
It's a great name.
That's a really good name for a baby into an adult.
Yeah.
A lot of names I feel are like either baby names.
Oh, it's
or
an
they're
amazing
like adult
name.
names.
Yeah.
And you're like naming the baby Brenda, and you're like, why is your name Brenda? As you're calling a 3-year-old kid Brenda?
I would do that.
Well, I know, but it's like weird, no?
Yeah, Brenda.
Holly's a really good
Holly's
name.
a great name.
Yeah, it's a good name.
But yeah, let's cut it off there for now.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
it's like we're at an hour and 15.
Yep.
Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We've got one more episode for the year, which
Christmas present exchange.
Oh, yeah, Christmas.
Have you got yours?
I have everything that I was.
Mine is figured out.
I figured.
Mine is figured out.
I haven't received all of it yet, but I have everything that I was going to get you is ordered and on its way.
Cool.
So I have everything figured out for next week.
Cool.
And it sounds like you do too. So, next week will be the last one for the year, episode 12, and then we'll be back
New Year's.
Yeah, shortly into the new year. So
See you next year.
yeah, pretty much. So thanks so much for watching this episode. Please make sure you subscribe. Pardon, Jesus.
It's all good. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast.
Yeah, I haven't had breakfast yet. So.
Or to our YouTube, and then our podcast is on Spotify. It's on Apple. You can get those from our link tree, in
Amazon.
our bio. Amazon. We're on WhatsApp. We're on
iHeartRadio.
Pinterest. We're on what else are we on?
Yeah,
We're
follow
on
me
the F1 app. We're on tons of things.
Oh, yeah.
Just check us out.
Link
Look
tree.
us up. MP Media. Go.
And yeah, we've got more. We've actually have more shows under the MP Media banner starting soon. So look for those. They're actually, we filmed one yesterday.
Yeah.
That's going to be it's such a good
It's
episode.
a new series we're excited about for sure.
It's going to be so much fun. So anyway, stay tuned for all the stuff that we have doing. But for this episode of what did I call it this morning?
The
Menagerie pancakes.
No, you called it the
Meniscus? Mascarpone.
Potagerie or some French word.
The Mascarpone Potato Podcast. I'm Lincoln.
I'm A-Bomb.
We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.